HSLs originally had 3 massive petrol engines, together producing 1,500 horsepower. Her modern diesels produce over 1,200, plenty of grunt to get us on the plane. You can feel the whole vessel lift a little bit there, as now we are definitely on the plane. With her no-compromise combination of power and hull design, the HSL was capable of 39 knots, 45 miles an hour. Job done, boys. The hard chines also bring great control. These boats could head out in almost any weather. Urgent message, pilot down. 24-6 west, 45-3 north. Let's go, chaps. By June 1940, 22 HSLs were positioned along the coastline. The world's fastest sea rescue service had been created, just in time for the Battle of Britain. Ah, got him! 11 o'clock! Another pilot saved. During the war, more than 11,000 were rescued by RAF launches around the world. There you are, Cummings. There's your tea. Oh, all right, I'll leave it here for you. Drink it, mind. Thanks to this great British machine, we didn't run out of pilots, and after 3 months of intense aerial fighting, the Battle of Britain was won. In 1940, the realities of war took over the everyday lives of the British population. Millions of civilians, mostly children, were evacuated to the country. Those that remained were getting used to blackout blinds and air raid drills. On September the 7th, 1940, the German Luftwaffe began the most devastating series of attacks British cities had ever endured. London faced 57 consecutive nights of relentless bombing. As Fireman Jerry Knight said, "Send all the bloody pumps you got, the whole bloody world's on fire." The Blitz had begun. London's firemen, including thousands of raw recruits, faced the fight of their lives. The Blitz, like the war itself, was a crisis for which Britain was barely prepared. In 1938, Britain's largest city, London, had just 2,500 firemen. Not enough to cope with an all-out bombing raid. So the government established the AFS, the Auxiliary Fire Service. With true British wartime spirit, over 30,000 men and women volunteered. But there was a dire shortage of firefighting kit. Classic fire engines like this beautiful 1938 Dennis simply couldn't be produced fast enough. It was time to improvise, and production focused on the one piece of a fire engine you couldn't do without, the pump. This is a 1941 Jowett. Fundamentally, this machine consists of an 8-horsepower car engine in here, driving a pump here. You attach your supply hose here, and your delivery hose here, and you could expect to squirt out roughly 250 gallons per minute. Simple and easy to use, or so they say. Barry Lambeth from West Sussex Fire Service is going to give me some hands-on training as an AFS volunteer. My first job is to stop Barry falling over.
That's it, with your left arm on my shoulder.
Okay, like that.
That's it.
So why my arm on your shoulder, Barry?
Your arm on my shoulder is basically to stop me being pushed back.
Okay.
When the force comes through the branch, you will see how much force there is pushing back.
And this is known as a branch, yeah?
This is the branch. This is the branch.
These trailer pumps didn't have as much pumping power as the old-style fire engines, but they could be produced much faster and in vast numbers. And they were easier to use, although training was still intensive.
The auxiliary firemen at the beginning of the war did 60 hours before they were actually allowed to go out to fires.
Wonder how many hours before I get a go. By the start of the Blitz, the AFS were equipped with more than 20,000 pumps. But what remained in short supply was a means of getting the pumps to the fires. In the middle of the night, in a blackout, and often with bombs still falling all around you. Taxi!
South of the river this time of night, Governor? You must be joking.
Come on, mate.
Oh, all right then, you little so-and-so jump in. All right, chaps, let's be having you.
Yes, about 2,000 London taxis were drafted into the fire service during the Blitz. Taxis like this classic Austin 12. The Austin Heavy 12 was purpose-built to negotiate London's maze of streets, with plenty of grunt from the 12-horsepower engine. Just hook up your pump, and there's plenty of room inside for a team of 5 firemen and their gear. OK, even a very roomy cab was a bit tight, but it did have one very special attribute that made it perfect for the fire service. Like all London black cab drivers since 1865, all licensed cabbies had to pass the knowledge and learn every road and landmark within a 6-mile radius of Charing Cross.